Okay. Let's go. Logan?
I just burped.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode. We are in the finishing the bottle episode at this point.
Settle back, settle down, settle in.
So we have tried so far today the American Honey Wild Turkey.
You, by the way?
Didn't I say Logan? Fuck.
Did you say Logan?
Sure.
Do I get a chance to?
No, I'm just trying to go with my. This was my choice because it's in front of
He'll
me
introduce
here.
us eventually.
So okay, whatever. I'm
polite
Logan
man.
Lynch.
He's
We
cute.
don't edit shit.
No,
I'm Logan
we
Lynch.
don't.
This was the one that I thought actually tasted good. Who the fuck are you?
I'm Warwick Price. That tasted like shit.
What?
This is pure nectar, and this is totally growing on me.
And I'm Lon Black, the third host, Lon Black, and shit, heaven, wonderful.
On its way. Purgatory?
On its way. Not.
Is this purgatory and that's kind of like between heaven? You're at the pearly gates with that one?
That's already in hell.
No,
Purgatory's
this
on
is
its
not.
way.
Remember the barbecue one that I gave Logan? What was
Yeah,
that
yeah.
one?
Oh, that was Screwball? Not Screwball.
No.
Curveball.
Curveball.
Something like that.
Yeah, curveball. It was barbecue. It smelled like barbecue. It smelled wonderful.
But
I
it
would have
was-
poured that all
that
over
was
my
thick.
steak.
That
It
was thicker than this one.
I think it might have been.
Yeah.
But no. 'Cause I don't
Yeah.
think that was technically a liqueur. I think that was actually a bourbon.
Yeah, I think that was. This was a
No,
more.
but I agree.
This is a liqueur flavored with bourbon.
I do think that was thicker.
Really?
Yeah. However,
Comma.
I will say I think that curveball was actually a better flavor than that was.
Really?
So curveball, for those of you who don't know, curveball is a barbecue flavored bourbon.
It literally smells like a barbecue.
This is a
does.
liqueur flavored with bourbon. The other one was a bourbon flavored like barbecue. So there's a difference.
Sweet barbecue,
I'm getting
mind you.
heartburn just looking.
It
at
was. They were
Really?
both. They were both super
What?
sweet and sugary, and I hated them both.
So,
but
I
the
honestly.
barbecue one smelled awesome.
Yeah.
This one did not smell good to me, though, which was
No.
weird that didn't smell good, but it tasted okay to me.
Yeah. But now let's be fair about this. We didn't even talk about price ranges. So let's kind of quick cover this if we missed the price
Yes,
range.
we
of the
did.
guess on
And I
this
don't
one.
think we actually covered that one either.
We didn't, but let's cover all three. So
Wow,
that
perfect.
one we know what that one cost, right?
$18.99?
$18. No, $17.99. So
Oh.
$18. So that was $18. This, anyone want to guess on this one? This is Wolf. We should kind of compass them. Everybody knows American Honey. That was a
Wild turkey.
wild turkey
I almost said long turkey.
branded
Jesus Christ. That was
liqueur
long ranch.
flavored with their bourbon. This is Wolf Point, made in Chicago. On Wolf Point, Chicago. We are in
Chicago.
Chicagoland, west suburbs actually. So we're close to this one. I've never had this one before. This was the first thing
you
to
said
this.
that's a single barrel. So
Single barrel. This entire bottle came from one barrel. The entire batch of these is one barrel, no blending. Usually when they do a small batch, we kind of covered this before. Small batches, like they take 10 barrels or 15 barrels or 20 barrels and make a batch out of that. This is a single barrel.
okay, so I think that says money to me. $65.
I'm going to go with 42.
Oh. 45.
Oh, so I went over.
You were way over.
So I did not.
Sam
get
said
a
I-
sugar.
Logan
I
got it
was
this
way
time.
over.
Okay. Glenmorangie, Nectar d'Or.
I think that is $49.99.
You know it's a Scotch, right?
I'm going to say $82.
Okay.
I'm doing Price is Right rules.
I'm going to go $1. Come on down.
Okay.
$65.72.
You're getting better. You're getting better. It was actually a $75 bottle.
Ooh.
$80 normally. I got a good deal on it. The higher end of these, like my favorite Lagavulin, that's about an $89, $90 bottle. But that's a smoke heavy peat. That's a beast of a Scotch. This is a much sweeter, delicate, laid back.
It was very smooth.
It was great. It's
And
aged 10 years to
honestly,
begin
though-
with, 2 years in another cast, 2 years in another, so we're talking a 14-year.
So, honestly, though, like, attainability-wise, like, you know, I feel like this is kind of the college frat boy.
That's
Right?
the college fraternity.
I thought
That's
you-
the college
yeah.
I
sorority.
thought you were going to say gas station. That's
Yes.
the gas station.
No.
I don't even want to
that's
say
a
that because I feel like
sorority drink.
this, sorority more, I guess,
Yeah.
would make more sense. And then this is kind of like the
Country Club?
Yeah, Country Club. And then this one is like, we're on our way to the Country Club, but...
This is new. This is new.
But honestly, though, that was really
But the
fucking good.
flavor profile in this is what saves it. Because it's a little hot. It's new. It's young. It's about 4 years.
A little
They
hot
said
in the sense
minimum
that you just
4
mean
years.
like fresh on the market type
No,
of thing?
no,
or...
like a little Bernie. There's
Okay.
a burn to it.
Okay.
Right? Because it's only aged 4 years-ish. They say minimum of 4 years.
So a
it could be 4,
6-year
could be
or
5, could be
5-year of
6.
that would probably be even better, we feel like?
I would
Or-
assume. But here's the thing. When you have a new distillery, we kind of talked about this before, but a new distillery...
new are they,
You
though?
want to get this product out. Good question.
It says on there, I think it was MMXL.
Yeah, you check that out. I'll check
Which
out
my
the
Roman numerals
website.
are a little off. I'm assuming 1997.
XB11, so that's 17. So
2017.
Oh, Jesus, I was way off. 2000. Wow.
So they're
Now
only
you're
6
showing
years
off over
old.
there.
So it's going to be another couple of years before they get out some good bourbons.
So as
Well, I
long as
shouldn't
we're
say
doing
good.
this
is
in a
good. I think this is
yeah,
good.
this was good. So I think it's going to get even better. We
Yeah,
think, right?
Agreed.
It's
Agreed.
a great start.
Right.
Yeah.
And they do have other things. They've got
See, how do
gin,
you
they've got
do
whiskey.
that though? Because we said it's
Wolf
minimum
Hollow,
4
tag
years.
us up, man. I really want to talk to you
Well,
guys.
but
we
I
got to
mean-
talk to more Wolf Point. I said Wolf Hollow. Wolf Point.
Jeez.
But again, like remember, my buddies back in California had the 117 distillery that
Yes.
had that
I
bottle.
remember. I've still got that bottle.
You know, it's
I've
like
saved
that.
it. Thank you,
That
by
was
the way.
that was a great. That was a great bottle, and
I don't remember the age of it. Do you remember?
like,
do
the
you
age?
feel like though
2 or
that
3 years. I
if
mean,
it
comes-
because
Yeah.
they're like that
Yeah.
was literally one of the first. So they started doing the. I think rum was the first thing they did,
Yeah.
and so they'd only been around like a year or so when they started doing the bourbon.
Right.
But like so I guess my point being the fact that being new doesn't necessarily mean that you're not any good.
No. All
You know,
that
it's
means,
like-
literally, in this case, it's exactly that. They're new, so they don't have very old bourbons.
Right.
Does it so that? But
That's
does
it.
that
They're
always?
great flavor
Do you think though
profile.
that the flavor, as it is, might be? This is going to sound bad. I'm not saying that this is their case, but can it be that that's the best they're going to get, or will it get better
No,
with age?
Absolutely, it will.
I mean,
Absolutely, it will get
or
better
does it
with age.
depend
That's
on
the whole
their
point.
aging process?
No. Well, of course, that's part of it, but still, so you got to be good at aging and rotating barrels and getting good barrels, and it's hard to get good barrels sometimes. Even Jack Daniel's makes their own barrels because you can't just get enough barrels. But the point of this is that I would love to try this as an 8-year.
Oh,
If
God.
that was an 8-year aged bourbon,
Do you
if this
think that'd
flavor
be up
profile,
in this realm? Do you think?
well, it's just not a
Because
Scotch.
this was the 10-year, right?
That's a 10-year starts, and then it's another 2 years, and
In the
that's
other
like
barrel, yeah.
12 or 14 years when that one's done, because it finishes in other wood barrels.
But I think
I just don't see how you can get smoother than this, though.
Oh,
Like,
you
because
can get super
it gets smoother as it
So,
ages,
okay,
right?
so all right, so here's something else. That
School me, brother.
Not only is it just the age, so when you age liquor in a barrel, you're doing it for the oak flavor and the profile, and the aging process mellows out what you've got to a certain degree. You can't predict what one wooden barrel is going to do with that liquor versus another wooden barrel, even if it's from the same kind of wood. The seasoning,
can
the aging,
ballpark it,
where it
like,
is,
what- not
of
even
course you
ballpark
can.
it better
Of
than that,
course you
right?
can. Of
Yeah.
course you can. You can ballpark it. But the point is, that's why they typically blend, or even when they put out small batch, it's 10 barrels,
is
12
fucking
barrels,
smooth.
20 barrels, because they want to make sure they get that right flavor profile. Some barrels might be a little funky. Some barrels might be so smooth you can't even taste it. You blend them together, you get a good bourbon.
right.
So, but this, I love the fact that literally it just came out of the barrel that it was aged in. That one barrel. This is not. It doesn't touch a single other barrel in the world. I wanted to get his angle shot. I love this thing. I'm going to switch the lenses all the time. But
I'm just getting pictures.
the point is, the barrel makes a difference. The year, the age makes a difference. The seasoning, meaning
themselves, right?
well, that was
Master
where the
distiller.
recipe comes into play. But the seasons, how the seasons age it, make a difference. You have a harsh winter, you have a mild winter. That's going to make a difference.
We had seasons in the sun. Yeah, I figured.
You knew
I didn't say that at all.
Actually, while this is here,
Didn't say that at all.
did I just
Um,
accidentally?
But there's a lot that comes into play with making bourbons. It's not easy. It's daring as hell to come out with a bottle
to get it
that's
right this
one
quickly?
barrel.
To get it-
one barrel, and it's a straight. They don't add anything to it but water. It's a straight
But
bourbon.
I mean, I think the other thing that's interesting is in the same way, and I think we might have talked about this before, but I think in the same way that over the last 10, 15 years, there's been a resurgence in breweries, IPAs and
You don't have to stop talking.
Yeah, you keep going.
We're just
Like,
Instagramming.
Stop, smile.
like IPAs and all the different small batch breweries out there. Typically you had all of the American bourbon manufacturers that were probably perfectly happy with the idea that yes, you have these people from Scotland that are bringing over 12-year, 14-year, 18-year scotches,
21 year,
but like
30
we're
year.
perfectly happy with our 2 or 3 year old
No.
bourbons.
No. So even in bourbon making history, they understood that age meant smooth, and that's what the key was. But there's a balance because you want to make money.
Well, but that's
So you gotta crank out
but that's
product.
that's ultimately the point I'm trying to make. Is it's like yes, probably in the original wild turkey manufacturing, it's like yes, they maybe they created better quality whiskeys and things like that. But like ultimately,
Wouldn't that have added to the barrels coming over? Because we had that, and I apparently got firecrackers. What was the name of the one that
I
was?
think that was just a trailer. By the way.
What was the sea salt one?
What?
Oh,
Oh.
Henderson.
No,
So-
no, Jefferson.
Jefferson.
Jefferson's.
Ocean.
So
Jefferson Ocean.
when they're bringing
Oh,
that
is
over,
Great band.
right? Either way, I love that shit. That was good
that
to
was,
me.
That was
Yes.
amazing.
So,
Yes.
but to me, wouldn't bringing that over, those barrels over, even if they're in, say, the ship, that there's humidity, there's all that stuff.
Right, that's the
doesn't
point.
that play a role in it?
Absolutely,
What
of course.
happens then when we stopped using wooden ships and bringing things over? They're bringing them in, metal containers now
Right,
No,
that are
yeah,
probably not climate controlled, but at
but
least
that's different.
So the
That's different.
Jefferson in particular, those weren't barrels that just happened to come across the
No,
ocean.
No.
They
They
were
purposely did
they
that,
were
but-
physically put back on the boat
To go around
to
the
go
world
to
and come
go
back.
around Jamaica. If you actually read the label, it's like they went around the Caribbean,
Right.
And it
which
was
is humid as fuck.
It was exactly. It was the heat and the humidity that the way they explain it.
You want the reaction of the whiskey getting soaked into the wood and then getting extruded from the wood,
Right.
and then soaked into
So
the
then
wood.
the wood
and
has to have a
extruded.
certain saturation point, is what I'm assuming then.
Absolutely,
And
of
then,
course.
but now, how do you? I mean, other than trial and error, like I feel like with Wolf Point, they've only been around since 2017.
But it's not a trial and error
But
necessarily.
people know. I mean, in other words,
It's a science
Right.
for a lot of this
Sure,
stuff.
but like you, so then they said, well, you know what? We probably know that this wood's going to be best for what we're trying to attain. Like, how did? I mean, other than them knowing.
No. First of all, there's regulations for that. So bourbon
Oh.
has to be virgin oak cask.
Okay.
American
Okay, so they
oak
have a starting
casks.
point then. Okay.
Even Scotch has to be American oak casks
Which I find
now.
hilarious.
Which
But
is hilarious,
it's
but
gotta
that
be-
improved the quality because everybody realized, wait a minute, there's a standard here. American oak
So you're
cask.
saying America's got wood?
Well, I think the bigger point is how hard was it for them to find a virgin in Kentucky?
Yeah,
Oh my
Jesus
God.
Christ. Oh man! And we just went way over there. I love it.
Jesus
I love it.
Fucking.
I'm gonna do that.
That's just how much fun we're having.
You know
right now.
what? I'm-
So the funny thing is,
I'm
here's the funny thing.
debating.
This
I'm
is supposed to be
gonna-
finishing the bottle, which means not just finishing the bottle, but it also means we were supposed to be talking about the
gonna
movies.
go that.
But I feel like the movies were so bad that we were just like, you know what? These fucking things were way better.
You know what I
than
want to talk about with the movies?
Okay, let's talk about it.
But honestly, I want to keep talking about bourbon. But when we do get to the movies, I just want to talk about the point of doing the last 2 episodes, including this episode, then would be 3, of children's stories being turned into
Yes.
horror stories.
Yeah.
Because I watched, I don't know if you guys, did you guys watch the Humpty Dumpty?
I did
one?
not. It's on my.
I started watching it, and then,
Okay.
then when we decided that wasn't the one we were going to watch,
Okay,
I stopped
still
watching
watch it. It's still a decent movie. It's not horrible, but it was retrofitted to be a Humpty Dumpty. It was
See, yeah.
it was a haunted doll movie that they said, well, let's just haunt it with Humpty Dumpty.
see.
So there was no. I mean, it was bad because when he was Humpty Dumpty, his face looked a certain way and certain cracks. And then when he became the monster, it looked completely different. And then it had the fangs coming out. But you could tell it wasn't the same mask. It was a doll head that I swear to God I saw at Trans World, the Halloween show in St. Louis.
I'll have to watch it.
It's been out there, and I'm thinking they just fucking went out and bought a mask.
Honestly, the
Put it on
the
somebody.
best, scariest, I think, and it's not even a children's story. It's more like a children's toy. For me, was the Jack in the Box from oh my god,
Toy Story.
No, God, wow.
Is it an actual children's
Hold on,
movie or
hold
a
on.
horror
No,
movie?
no, no, no. It was the.
Is it a horror movie?
It's
Jesus Christ! Come on.
It's a book and a film.
No, it's what's his name? He's the Christmas
Movie, 3 syllables.
Christmas. Come on. Holy fuck.
Oh,
Krampus.
No,
Krampus. Thank you. Krampus.
Yeah, the
From Krampus.
You're
That-
talking the one that was in the
yes,
attic.
Yeah, that was fucking great.
Oh,
like
yeah.
how they did that. Like, fuck, you could make a
yeah.
whole movie on that
Oh,
character.
absolutely.
That was perfect.
You know
I
what?
also like the little gingerbread men.
Gingerbread Man were
Wait a minute.
fucking
Awesome.
great.
Everything about the Krampus movie, from the director who did Trick or Treat.
Yes.
Right.
Everything
Michael
was
Dougherty?
beautiful about that. Doherty.
Yeah. Is it Michael? I think it's Michael Dougherty.
No, Doherty. Thank you. I was going to say Mick Doherty. I don't know why.
Mick.
But you're right. But that's why it was good.
But see, but that's what I mean. So like, how could you not take a Humpty Dumpty and I feel like you could take any of those fucking movies and
But his point wasn't to do a children's story, though. His point was taking childhood toys and putting them in the attic and making them come to life.
yeah,
Right, because in
And then
theory,
Gingerbread Man,
it's
it was
Krampus that
Christmas.
made them.
Right. It was
Yeah.
a Krampus movie ultimately,
But
which is not a children's
Krampus was
story.
that was way better than I thought it was going to be.
Oh,
but,
it was
But that's
fantastic.
where, but to me, I feel like you could do that. Like, so I haven't watched the Pinocchio horror movie. They have one of those.
Yeah,
you know, they've got all these ones
Yeah,
that
they
they've
have one of
tried
those.
to do. But I just feel like you've got. I mean, everything's right there.
But
How can you not make a decent?
Here's the point. Here's
the
the point.
Grinch one.
In my eyes, when you try to do a
Fuck, do
when you
Care
do-
Bears.
when you do a children's story, you're going for the sensationalism of it. You're not actually creating a great movie.
But that's what I don't like.
You're
is
going because
you gotta go into
everybody
it with that.
loved the Banana Splits.
Oh,
Let's
fuck.
do a Banana
Go-
Splits
that-
horror
that-
movie.
oh my
That was
God.
a stupid.
That-
movie.
But this is
If I
my
could give a
point. This is my
0.5.
point. Is they rode on the back of the fact that all it was taking beloved children's characters and making them.
And that's where I
horrific.
think there's the problem is they're
Well,
just
sure, that's
going
my point.
off of that instead of just saying, hey, let's take that. We've got an opportunity to draw people in with this. Let's make it good. They're just like, no, fuck it. Money grab. Let's get it out there as cheap as possible. And
Correct.
You know, and that's why I did
Correct.
like Willy's Wonderland because they could have gone the route of Showbiz Pizza. They went that route, but they made it their own thing, and they actually did a pretty decent job
because
with
it wasn't Showbiz Pizza. It was their own
correct,
version of
and that's all
Showbiz
you've got to
Pizza.
do. So just take, you know, I mean, and now the Five Nights at Freddy's is coming out.
Right.
You know, I feel like they're a little too
I
little
can't
too
believe
late,
that-
to be honest.
Oh, exactly. I couldn't believe that took that long to get out.
Yeah, but now
That was
maybe it's
the
going to be.
original horror.
I don't know
video
what
game.
the I don't know the numbers behind that, but if they've got 20-30 million dollars, they might make a decent movie out of it.
I mean, the trailer looks great. I mean, it really does. But I mean,
That trailer looks great for a lot of things too.
That's the
that's very
trailer
true.
always often
well,
looks
because the
better.
trailer looked great for Winnie the Pooh as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
I think the thing I think is funny, and I put it as,
left.
as my comment on when I posted it on Facebook and Instagram was, I think the thing that's funny though is, didn't Willy's Wonderland already beat them to the punch?
But
So they've got now.
But it's a
in their
different
defense,
version of it, though.
Yeah, it's
Right, not
in
the
their
Willy-
defense.
It's not the same character.
They've got
no,
it.
but it's still ultimately the idea of you're in this arcade that has animatronic characters that
But
normally.
they're not the first one to do that either. The Willy's Wonderland isn't the first one to take animatronics from a pizza place to make them into a horror movie. There was like 2 or 3 others before that. That one was a short called The Hug. Have you seen The Hug?
Yeah, actually, I have.
The Hug was
pretty good.
an animatronic pizza. Literally, in fact, I think it was the Showbiz Pizza bear.
Yeah.
So
They changed
they've
them.
done this before. And then what was the
But
other
that's
one?
where-
There was another one that they did with the. I'll find it.
But yeah, I feel like you've got these opportunities to take these. I mean, because I don't know what's coming up as far as like copyright, protection going away for some of these. But I mentioned it in the other one. You could do Tinkerbell. You could turn that into a single white female type of thing, and still make it a decent movie, even if it is formulaic. Still make it a decent movie, and the second one, let it be. I mean, look what Rob Zombie did with Halloween. First one, he's like, "Fuck, I gotta follow this because if I don't, they're not gonna let me do a sequel."
But he added to it. He made it more of
He
a
did.
backstory.
But then the second one was more zombie-like, Rob Zombie-like, right? And that's where I feel like these guys are doing that. So that's where I'm hopeful for Winnie the Pooh Part 2, that the main thing is Winnie the Pooh. They got rid of all the other shit. They got their money, and now they've got people that are like, fuck it, let's see what we can get out of this.
I agree with that. I mean, I think because it's funny when we're talking about Krampus and as I love the gingerbread men.
Oh, God, yeah.
Me too.
But I mean, I think it's one of these things where the problem with most of those. Sorry, as I just.
Wow, did you see that peg to the red? It like
Sorry.
barreled
For anyone
away.
who's-
If anybody was asleep,
We
I'll do
we
it.
Anyone who's listening
apologize.
on headphones. But I think the problem is, it's like, how do you create a movie out of that character and make it interesting? I agree with what you're saying about the sequel for Winnie the Pooh. I think ideally what they do is they look at the things that worked well in Blood and Honey, and just take that and expand on it. I think.
But that's the problem, is the good things in Blood and Honey were what you didn't see. You didn't see Pooh initially for that first 10 or 15 minutes, and that I think now that the cat's out of the bag, are they gonna?
They need to improve Pooh.
They need to now, and that's where,
They
like I
can't make
said,
him
you've
look
got to
like a
bring in
cartoon character.
you've got to
Right.
bring in another character.
Why
you could do.
was Piglet grown into a full-on boar, adult boar, and Winnie the Pooh still looked like a cartoon character?
But he was a tall.
Oh,
beer
well,
belly man.
now he's,
one thing we
okay.
didn't mention in
He's
the
tall.
Winnie the Pooh thing. Did you know that the stalker was also Piglet? So the guy that played Piglet in the movie was also the stalker.
Really?
Yeah,
You found that interesting?
yeah. So just
But-
he's the actual person that
Right,
played
right.
actor.
Piglet. So.
Did the
Piglet
part
wasn't,
of-
wasn't
Yeah, Piglet was
right.
The
Yeah.
actor did two roles. That's common in low budget movies for the actor to
I
play
think that's
multiple.
incredibly interesting.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
But it's fun.
All
But
right,
but
then.
yeah, so I think Little Red Riding Hood, it's a simple story. It's something they could have done, I think, a lot with. And they tried to, and they brought in some good name characters. They had an opportunity.
They had a budget.
And they had a decent budget,
But
and
they blew it on
fucked
Gary
it
Oldman.
up. Gary Oldman did a great job, because
He
he
did an
always
okay job.
does.
He did
But
an
he overacts. But that was his part.
Yes.
He's
Yeah, that was the
supposed to be
character.
that priest that
Right.
just goes beyond whatever he needs to. Because the one thing I didn't like about that movie too was last I checked, when your fingernails, if you were to try to replace them, other fingernails grow out. So even if you put silver fingernails in there, your fingernails are going to grow over that, right?
You know what?
But it probably just glue.
Yeah, I think he
That was
just
just-
glued
You
them
saw
on.
blood. It looked like he fucking jammed them damn things.
Well, he
in
might
there,
have
but
embedded them, but
I don't
he
know.
probably has to re-embed them every 8 weeks.
I will
or
give
so.
them props for using that, because I was wondering, I'm like, why is she kneeling down and
I
digging
think-
in the snow?
I think
It's
they
like-
tried to come up with a unique concept that made it look a little creepier,
Yeah.
and a little more like he was committed to this whole thing,
Yeah.
but in a really stupid way by making it his fingernails
Yeah.
instead of like a gun or
Yeah.
a
But the other thing,
knife. Or,
I just think it's interesting though that he was wolf catcher or wolf killer, but also dabbled in witch finding
Yeah.
on the side.
well, he was a priest. I think that's part of their MO is they've got to also hunt out witches. I think it's also if
She's
there
a
was
And
a
they
witch.
need
demon that came
little
up-
boys to find that
He
out.
turned me into a newt.
I got better.
It just
We don't quote-
these
we don't
movies
quote
weren't
Monty
great,
Python
but
on
I
this
honestly,
show.
if I had to
We need to
rewatch one,
quote
I
more.
would honestly rewatch the Winnie the Pooh one.
No, I've watched Winnie the Pooh enough.
I don't know.
I've watched it enough.
I would
I've
watch it.
watched enough Pooh in my life.
Yeah, there's been times. As I'm going back, honey. No, and that was the other thing is they.
By the way,
didn't-
we need a camera over there so that we can zoom in on Logan.
You don't need to.
Nobody needs to
Yeah,
zoom
you
in
don't
on
need to
Logan.
see any more of this.
No,
all,
that's
all
as
it is
zoomed in as you
beard,
want.
hat, and hair. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Uh,
But you know what? The problem is the beard is, I think, growing through the hat now. I think what's happening now is it's becoming one big
Yep.
hair.
Hair.
When is that? When is Baldrix doing their thing?
Baldrix?
Isn't that who you're doing your hair for?
What?
Who you going to
Baldrix?
have?
What the
Why-
fuck's
why
a
you gra-
Baldrix?
Baldrix doesn't say you donate your hair and they
No,
they
no,
make
it's
wigs for
locks
the
of
poor.
love.
Locks
is
of
what I
love.
was
Okay,
is what I'm
Baldrix
growing
is
it
the
out
same
for.
thing as locks of love.
Yeah.
But
I
not as
they
well.
I believe they
Baldrix.
supposedly only
that's
take.
just what they because you shave your whole head and they give your hair.
Bald Ricks?
Yeah.
You've never heard of Baldrix?
I have not.
No.
This is coming from the guy that didn't know what pitching a tent meant, so I guess we should probably elaborate on that.
He's new to this country.
Anyway, yeah. So I honestly though the best part of this these last few episodes I think has been the actual bourbon. Not from our talking about the movies, but basically these bourbons were way better, I think, than the movies.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it was a good.
Oh, look at that, St. Baldrick, son of a bitch. He's got an.
It was a good concept.
They
It's the
had
same
good
thing. You
concepts.
shave your head, you give it to them, they make wigs out of it for the
kids.
people
For-
with cancer.
well, kids are cancer, yeah.
Correct.
Do they just
do it
stick
for
on the
cancer
head?
kids. You shave your head and they give the wigs so wigs can be worn by kids with cancer, so they don't feel like they're always bald because they lose their cancer. They lose their hair when they.
Chemo and
Is
things.
Is that how that works?
Well, you seemed like you were not sure what this
We
was
should
about.
have an episode when I do
felt
cut
like
my
I needed to
actual hair.
explain that. Oh, that would be awesome.
Can I cut your hair?
That would be
Oh,
awesome.
Jesus, I
For,
don't know.
for those of you who have seen Logan in person, or maybe even just on this show,
I'm sorry.
and thought, "Oh my God,
It's actually
this
pretty
werewolf needs to be tamed."
Yeah.
One day he will be.
The funny thing was when I was looking at the werewolf in the movie, I was like, "Hey, no." I thought
You
I
were
was
like,
I was related. It's like, Dad,
What
no.
a sexy beast that is.
No, it just I do feel like though that we covered some pretty good ground with a lot of these. I think we covered all ends of the spectrum. I think I like the sweet side
From shit to.
To delicious.
But
to
see,
heaven.
that's the thing. To me, it's
Heaven or hell?
delicious, better. Delicious, best, better.
Okay,
Like,
so give me your. All right. Logan is the newest bourbon, newest whiskey aficionado to the group.
I don't even want. Don't even say aficionado. I'm
Let's-
the newest.
A newbie. He's a newbie.
I'm a newbie.
He's a newbie.
I don't. And this is all honestly.
And-
I think every one we've had has been, except for when we did the 5. Then I think I had a couple of those because.
But
we
you
had-
did get
at
those.
some
You
point.
got some of those
Yeah.
anyway. You got,
So the
you
taste
did
is
a good deal
there.
of those.
It's-
Agreed.
it's
And
getting
here's the
there.
thing: is again, like my friends at Whiskey Tribe, give us some stuff.
We should hashtag them.
Whiskey Tribe says, as they say, the best bourbon is the one you like, the way you like it.
Yeah.
So nobody's wrong in tasting bourbons. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you like that god awful swill, more
Good
power
on ya.
to you. Good on you. You drink that swill, because I
it's-
fucking won't.
Well, but the thing is I drink this stuff because I'm the type where I will try anything.
I've heard
I'll
that
go to a
about
sushi
you.
place.
I've heard that
Yeah,
about
there was that one time in college. No, but
More like 7.
there was, but like if I go to a sushi place, hey, eel, fuck it, let's see what happens. And now
You say eel or eel?
Eeyore. Yeah, apparently if I'm in 100-acre woods, then. But no, and that's where I'm willing to try stuff. I'm there's gonna be things where I feel like I know for a fact that if I probably made sure I didn't eat Wendy's prior to having some of the stuff, I probably would have had some better taste buds. But
but that does make a difference.
yes,
And
that's
sadly,
where-
that makes a difference.
But
It's
that's
hard.
what I want to try and figure out is even in my normal state, what would I still taste and what would I still sense and what would I still smell and things like that. Because to me, a big thing is smell. And if I don't smell something and then I taste it, I feel like then that's going to cause me to actually focus more on just the taste. Because if the smell is overpowering the taste, which that actually plays into you want to have some sort of a smell, but if it's overpowering, that's going to play too far into it, and it's going to cause me to either turn off or turn on too much. Right?
I've got an idea.
Okay. Oh, he's closing the laptop.
Let's bring out all the
The
bourbons
gimp.
we've had so far,
Shit. Okay.
if there's any left. All the bourbons that we we open like 3 bourbons, 2 to 3 bourbons a show
Thanks to you, by
when
the
we
way.
do it, and we've got several shows in the can now. So
Try 18, I think.
we've got a lot of bottles that are open. My bar is overflowing, and I'm an alcoholic, but I'm not that much of an alcoholic. I can't drink it all.
Yeah.
So what if we bring back all the bottles that we've tried so far and reevaluate? Now, the tough part of that is we're going to get shit-faced by the end of it. But if we do just little taste, we'll get little shot glasses and just do little spills,
Yep,
little
yeah.
taste. And maybe even spit them out. We'll have a spit can if we need to, like they do with the bourbon shows. But I think we need to bring them all back and see what we think of them.
I agree.
But so do you think that gives us an opportunity to kind of like retcon the scores that we've given?
I think we should still keep the original
I
score.
think we need to keep the original scores because that's the way we felt when
we
we tried them.
we can add the hey, you know what? After my palate's gotten a little more refined, we'll say, you know, I there might be stuff that I'm like, holy shit, that was way better than I originally remember it. I mean,
Agreed,
because I don't know what I'm
but-
looking for. I'm just going based off of.
But that's the point.
You
You're
know.
not looking for anything. You just want to see how it makes you feel, makes
Right.
you,
Yeah.
what the reaction you have to
Yeah.
it is, what you taste,
Well,
what you smell.
And as we said before,
And as we go along too, right?
it's
Absolutely.
I regret giving
Drinking the American honey?
Zachariah
Oh,
Harris
Zachariah.
That's what it was. I keep calling it
a
Elias, I
two.
think. But
Yeah. Oh, you did give it a 2,
I
didn't
gave
you?
it a 2, but I gave it a 2 because I was looking at it as I
You
felt
did that
that we
fucked
I
up
felt
way
that
to-
we were invariably going to have
Something worse? have we? No.
I don't know.
We haven't. Zachariah Harris is still the worst bourbon we've had ever.
Yes.
Honestly, even
I would
worse than
disagree with
American
that.
Honey. You think Harris is better than American Honey?
Yeah.
You think it's better than that?
Wait, hold on.
It's
Let me
worse.
rephrase that. It's not as good as this, but what was the one oh shit. What
You think there was
last
one that
episode?
was worse than that?
Adhams?
No,
Oh,
not
Adnams.
Adnams. Not
Adnams
Adnams.
was pretty bad,
Shit.
but
Oh god, there was the one that we had in the last episode where I said, you know what? Excuse me. Yeah, you might have to bring that
I'm
up.
going to pull up what we did rate.
Because there was
would
one
look
where
it
I
up.
said that I thought it was worse than what the fuck? I keep saying Elias. It's not Elias.
Zachariah
Harris, for Christ's sake. And I said that Zachariah Harris, and we actually brought out the Zachariah Harris for the finishing the bottle, and I actually still felt like whatever the other bottle was.
It was the one that we liked.
Yes, it was the one you guys liked, and it tasted like open ass to me.
You got to help me out with that.
It was literally one of the last
so look
2 or
at-
3
look at the
episodes.
Google.
We got Glenfiddich.
No, it wasn't
No,
Glenn.
no, no. It
We
was
did
one
the
of the later
Glenfiddich
ones.
with coffee.
Dub-
Zachariah Harris.
Dubliner? No, it wouldn't have been Dubliner.
Have you been updating this?
Maybe
Yeah,
was
it
it
should be.
Dubliner?
Dubliner Red Saw.
Red Saw was worse. Yes.
That's
Zachariah
right.
Harris.
That's right. He gave it a 1.
Yeah,
gave it a 1.
Yeah, Red Saw was worse than Zachariah Harris.
And you gave Zachariah Harris a 2.
yes, so there you go.
Did
Red
I give
Saw.
it a 2.5? Jesus.
You
No.
gave
No,
you
I,
gave
I gave it 2 as well.
you gave Red
1.5
Saw
in there just as fuck.
2.3.
Right.
And I gave it a 2.5 because I didn't think it was that bad. It certainly wasn't good, but I appreciated the fact that it was an okay, never mind.
I may want to update my Wolf Point. I think I gave it a 3, but fuck, man, I could like
It's
seriously.
getting good.
I could
isn't
sit
it?
here and finish. We could sit here for like 2 more
I'm
hours and finish
telling
that
you,
fucking thing.
it's one of those surprisers to me. I really had hopes it was going to be good, and when I smelled the first nose out of the bottle, I was really disappointed because it had a funk to it, and I thought, oh,
I don't
fuck,
get the
we got
funk.
we got
I didn't get the funky either.
Yeah.
All right, I got a little bit of a funk to it,
We got the
vinegary
funk.
funk, whatever you want to call it.
But I just didn't. I think the smell. I just didn't smell anything. I think that's what.
And that's I feel like that helps when you're not because if I get an overpowering whiff, I'm like, oof, that turns me off.
Which
This
is
one,
that one.
this one I didn't get that. Hold on, let's
No,
double
but
check.
that's the one that smelled like.
And it's got a twist off.
Can I share something with you guys here? I'm looking at the ratings.
I'm smelling sunflower with this, for fuck's sake. I don't know.
Logan and Lon
Oh.
both had a great range of things from 1 to 3+, and Logan even gave one a 4.5.
Which one was that? That was.
That was the beer barrel bourbon,
Yeah.
Oh, that
which was fantastic.
good.
Oh, you gave it the Origin specifically. The beer barrel bourbon you gave a 4. You gave the Origin a 4.5.
Oh, Origin. That was the one I got completely shit faced for the live show. I think wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But-
I don't remember going home that
But
night.
you
Thankfully,
and
my
I,
wife
we
drove.
ranged all over the place. Warwick's, the lowest he ever gave was a 2, and the highest he ever gave was a 3.
See, that's why I don't.
You were
believe
like
in-
middle of the road,
You should
vanilla
never,
motherfucker.
You are so worried about what the future's gonna be. Just
Yes.
fucking live in the now.
Live in
man.
the now, man. What the
So-
fuck? You gotta get some like range. Exaggerate
That
your
is range.
thoughts.
Well, but your range is a little too tight.
You
gotta-
gave Zachariah
if something
Harris
like
a
this
2.
one. What would you give this one? If you had to redo it, you gave it a 2, I think.
I
Right?
gave it a 2.
If you could redo it, what would you give it?
Would you say that's better or worse than Zachariah Harris?
Because you gave Zachariah Harris.
No,
a
I think
2.3.
Zachariah Harris is worth. But that's
You
why
gave Zachariah Harris a 2.
Well, and that's why I said it's like I think now, if we were retconning those numbers, I would give Zachariah Harris a solid 1.
Right, but we can't do that because that was the whole point. Is the only one who
We'll do
gave
that in another
Zachariah
episode,
Harris a
right?
1 was me. You both gave it a 2.
So I think what you mentioned is what we should be doing is taking some bottles to your bar at some point and recording an episode from there.
Let's do a location show.
We'll do a location
We'll go
show.
through all the bottles, but you got to bring the ones that I gave you to take home if they're still existing.
Oh, I still have them. Yeah.
Okay, then bring those as well.
I actually have the curveball sitting in my office.
Well, the curveball wasn't part of the show, though. Don't
I
bring
know.
that. But all the other ones,
It should have
anything
been.
that was part of the show.
We should have had it
Bring
when
it.
we had barbecue Mike on there.
Oh,
That
we
would have been.
shoulda.
Barbecue
He
Mike.
would have hated it though. Probably.
He
He's a
would've
little
loved
bit
the
of
smell, he
It
would've
sounds
hated
bad.
the
I'm not
bourbon.
gonna. I'm not calling him a snob in that sense, but I'm just saying he's a bit of a connoisseur compared
So Mike, let me give you a little backstory on Mike.
to. Uh oh.
Is Mike is
He may
one of
listen
those
to
guys.
this, so let
he
him-
was no, that's
No, I'm
great.
just kidding.
He knows. We've been friends for over 10 years. When he first started out in the bourbon realm, it wasn't that long ago. He was just that curious and that interested and that in love with the process and the bourbons and the taste and the profiles and everything that he dove deep. But he's new to bourbon. If I have to say it, he's probably maybe 5 or 6 year into bourbons.
Okay.
And in the great scheme of things, that's not a ton of time, but he loved it so much he dove deep. So when he first started the whole thing, he was, hey, what do you think of this bourbon? Do I buy this bourbon? I'm like, no, that's swill, don't get it. Well, I want to try it, that kind of. He would call me and we'd talk about different
But
bourbons.
it's Zachariah Harris.
Well, but
Got
the
a great
thing is,
label.
Yeah.
but the same way he does the bourbons is how he did his YouTube channel. He originally came to me and was like, hey, I don't know much about YouTube. What do I do? And stuff like that. And I said, well, here's what I know about YouTube. And here's what you do with this and that and the other thing. And he just dove deep. And now he's the expert on it. He did the same thing
Good.
with bourbons. When he started tasting bourbons, he dove deep. He learned about it. He tasted a lot of different things. He went deep. And he didn't rely on what other people told him about it. He just tried it. Right? That's what you need to do is just try it.
Yep.
And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. In 5 years, you might hate that shit and
True.
you drink nothing but this.
Well,
But
the
you
only
got to
reason-
dive deep into it.
Yeah, see,
and
the only
just
reason I
get
like
into
this
it.
is probably because of the sweetness. I have
But
the
you got a sweet
worst
tooth.
sweet
Yeah,
tooth on the
that's
planet.
the
Like, I could
problem.
eat candy for fucking breakfast, lunch, and dinner and not
That's-
care.
see, I
Granted, my
can't.
body obviously is showing that. But it's one of those things where I just, for some reason, I have, ever since I was a kid, I used to eat sweetener packets, for Christ's sake.
Oh, my
Like, that's
God.
how
How
bad,
are you
like,
not
you
obese?
can never, when somebody says, oh my God, that's too rich, I go, give me that shit. I'll eat the rest of it. Like, I don't care for, like, if it's super sweet, if I'm saying something's too rich, you guys will never fucking eat it, right? Like, that's that, or drink it. That's how, I feel.
But there's a difference. So the difference is the bourbon profile the whiskey profile disappears when you have that much sugar in it.
I agree.
Because
I
it's
agree.
just sugar.
But that's why they call it a liqueur, right?
Right, that's the point. Because then it's like something you sip after dinner or some shit.
Or you add to something else.
Not like Coke, because that's more fucking
Now,
sugar.
True, but which is what
I couldn't think of drinking that after dinner.
What would you
but
would you cook
I'm
with
talking-
this?
No.
Like, what would you do with something?
cook
The only
with
no,
that?
I'm just asking because what would you do? Like, because people,
Honestly,
they make
I would
sweet.
throw it away.
They would make burgers, right? Like that. Don't they make burgers that have Jack Daniels, right?
The only thing
The
I can
sauce.
think about
Yeah,
doing
like,
with that,
yeah, dressing.
Yeah.
I'd maybe put it in a barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
I'd maybe put it in tea
See,
for a
there
hot
you go,
toddy.
yeah.
The rest would go in the trash.
Okay. Well,
I just because I don't have a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite of sweet tooth. I don't like sweet things. I like like give me a pumpkin pie any day of the
I'll
week.
have,
But
like,
I cannot
what was
eat
the one?
chocolate.
What was the one I had? It was like a cookie dough whiskey.
I just saw that.
It was
Where
like
did
a
I see that?
bulldog,
There's
I
some
think.
in this. There's some up here.
I think we have.
I
Some
think
of it.
so. Yeah, it's
No,
like
no, but I think we have the like PB.
No. I saw a cookie dough.
Really?
I
Yeah.
saw a cookie
It was
dough
something
in the
like
fridge.
PB. It
Or
was
no, a
not
cabinet.
PB,
A cabinet.
Jesus.
PBW.
There was a bulldog on the front of it. I can't remember. That's all I remember. But
Beef eater, gin.
no, it wasn't Beefeater.
It's the only
So
bulldog I
okay,
know.
so that brings up a point. Gin. Like, I have maybe had one drink of gin in
Really?
my entire life. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Is
Oh,
that
see,
is
that's-
that something I'm missing out on? Like,
That's
should
a
I be?
whole- That's a
Okay.
whole nother world of flavor profiles.
Okay.
A whole nother obsession. That it's because it's botanicals and it's flowers, and gin is what you make of it. Meaning, you start off with certain botanicals in a gin to make it a gin, After that, you could do whatever the fuck you want. You could make it earthier. You could make it greener. You could make it taste like your front lawn if you wanted to. But the whole point of gin is it's an herbal liquor, not liqueur.
So then that would be
liquor.
something more that the scent, the smell of it would play a huge role.
Yeah,
in
but
it.
you got to be into the flowers, and you got to be a big tea drinker. You know, because honestly, I think that's because it's all flowers and stuff. I don't think he drinks that much tea.
No, I drink lots.
He loves
lots of-
Earl Grey, I heard.
No, I hate
Yeah.
Earl Grey.
I love
I hate
Earl
Earl
Grey. Love Earl Grey.
But I
Earl
love
Grey.
I love gin. But it's like, you know, I'm a Tanqueray guy. It's like, but
Yeah.
I like Gordon's. I like Hendrix from time to time. But like,
I like Hendrix.
Like Hendrix is a classic case of like Hendrix is very flowery.
Very flowery.
You know.
Uh,
But I don't think Tanqueray is quite so much.
Now, how do you feel when somebody like me tries this type of stuff and you are
It
like,
makes me sick.
no, I'm serious. Like though, like when I try this stuff and I go, it's not bad. What are you talking about? Like, does that piss you off, or does that make you go, to each his own?
No.
No,
To
it
each his
doesn't.
own.
To each
I
his
mean,
own, absolutely.
It's you have to, right? In other words, it's like we can look and joke and as part of the podcast and say, yes, that's disgusting. How are you possibly drinking that? But it's again, there's no different from I drink my tea with milk and sugar. That's
disgusting.
There's plenty of people. That
Let
think,
me guess. You put ketchup on
That's
your hot dogs.
disgusting. Oh, you better not.
Absolutely.
No, no.
There you go. That's the
You
answer.
don't really, do you?
Absolutely.
Nobody, and I mean nobody, puts ketchup on a hot dog.
Other than like a 2-year-old.
Any decent person does.
Oh my God! By the way, that was
We
a
just
line
lost like
from
all
a
of our
movie.
followers from that.
That was a listen. If you're anywhere near Chicago, you know you don't put ketchup on a
Funny
hot
story
dog.
about that. I used
Mustard
to
only.
put ketchup on my hot dogs.
my
Yeah, wait, this is when I was
There you
younger.
go, there you go.
And the only thing was I hated mustard. And then I literally remember this. I was 11 years old, and I just somebody accidentally put mustard on my hot dog, and I was so hungry I just said fuck it, and I ate it, and it was the best
Then you
fucking thing
learn.
ever. I was like,
Then you learn.
holy shit!
You
And
were
ever
like-
since then, like mustard is like.
But just
that mustard
like-
and sauerkraut.
Like yellow mustard.
Oh, sauerkraut's
oh
good
my
too.
God.
Yeah,
Yellow
but
mustard.
I-
Yellow
just
mustard.
yellow.
I'm not a huge fan of the like Grey Poupon and
No,
Dijon
I'm
and
cool
stuff
with
like that.
stuff too, but
I'm okay with
prefer
that, but
yellow mustard on a
fucking
hot
yellow
dog.
mustard. God,
I
that just-
agree.
The only good mustard is English mustard.
English.
It's ground mustard, right? It's just like whole grain
Oh
mustard.
my god! But like English mustard is more like horseradish.
Well,
Ooh,
and
I gotta try
like
this then.
horseradish, and I
It's-
But
love
do you have a
horseradish.
recommendation that I can? Is there anything here
It's
that
like
I could
Grey
get?
Poupon. It's like a Grey Poupon.
No,
Grey Poupon's
so,
is
so
Dijonish.
Coleman's English mustard.
Okay.
It's in a yellow container.
I've got some
Okay.
at the house.
It is.
It's actually very good because it is.
So then we're going to be having hot dogs and whiskey.
But a Chicago hot dog has yellow mustard.
Yes, it does.
Fuck you.
Yellow mustard, relish, pickle,
Well,
don't-
technically, if
I-
you want to choose Chicago
I
hot dog,
relish that
yes.
idea.
and
You gotta-
what's the salt though? The
It's celery salt.
celery salt,
Celery salt,
and
tomato,
I think pepper too. But
and it's got a porcino pepper in it.
pepper. Oh
You gotta have. You gotta. Yeah.
But it just all falls apart.
no, if you eat it right,
You
and
know
eat
what?
it like I do.
Then don't eat it and go back to your fucking place in L.A.
You Frankenfurters.
Wherever you came from, you fucking folk.
Why are you putting on a Scottish accent and telling me to go back
like
to
I'm
LA?
British.
Because it's so fun to say.
Go back to your subway.
You
No, what do you call it? The
fucking folk.
tunnel over there. Or what?
But
The
honestly,
tunnel?
so all right, let's.
Yeah, we went like totally off whack there.
Back into.
Oh, we're
back
already
into
43
honestly, I like talking more about the bourbons. Did I switch? No.
Yeah, you
okay.
did.
I like talking about the bourbons more than these movies that we watch because both movies really kind of suck.
Yeah, they did.
They were bad.
They
But
did.
the bourbons, we've got a profile here. And what I wanted to ask was, Logan, who's the newbie, who's the I'll say newbie, but
I'm
you
the
know what?
youngin'. I'm the
Yeah, but
youngin'.
you've been doing this for months now with
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, but
So-
only because of you guys.
us.
so.
Okay, but the point is that you've been trying a lot of different whiskeys, right?
Yep.
You've got a range here. You've got a wild turkey with honey flavor. Let me rephrase that. A wild turkey honey with bourbon flavor. You've got a new distillery in Chicagoland, so it's young, it's new, it's here, but it's a single barrel, and they're working on the recipe. And then you've got a classic Scotch, which is like the pinnacle of, if you really like whiskeys, maybe this is me stepping out of line. Scotch is the pinnacle of any whiskey.
Absolutely.
I like it way more than bourbon. I still love bourbon a lot. But to me, if I had my choice, I'd go Scotch all the time.
Absolutely.
You've got a big range here.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this.
I like all three of them.
Oh, don't give me that
I know,
bullshit.
but
Talk to me about
like
it.
I
What do you
mentioned
like,
earlier,
what do you
though,
like, what do you hate?
It all depends. Like, and this is probably a lot of people that even listen to this are the same way. Is it all depends on the mood. If there might be a day where I just, you know what, I've got friends coming over, I'm feeling, like having a good time tonight, and I don't want to be. This is gonna sound bad, but like sassy and like nitpicky, right?
Saucy.
So I'm just like, you know what? Let's go with this and have some fun.
Whoa! You would
Now, hold on.
your friends by forcing them to
Shh,
drink that shit?
You got to understand, my friends are not like you guys. They have not. They're just along with me.
Apparently, we're not his friends.
No. For Christ's sake!
I see how it goes.
I'm talking like high school.
Now it comes
But anyway,
out.
so if
you
their
as well.
flavor profile is probably way different than yours. Now, if you guys were coming to the party, I would have this, and I would probably have the Wolf Point.
As opposed to this, because
And the only reason is just because I'm a broke ass. But
yeah,
I would say
get it, I get it.
Glenmorangie would be more of like, after everybody else, all of my friends have passed out from this, and us three were the only ones still awake, then I'd go, guys, I got this. And I'd bring in the Glenmorangie.
So there's a friend of mine, Troy Smith, he's my co-alcoholic when it comes to whiskey and scotches. We used to, back in the day, and I'm talking, oh, Jesus Christ. All right, a long time ago. I've known this guy since kindergarten.
Okay.
So we've been
Been
friends
drinking ever since.
for quite a long time. And I used to work up where he lived, and at that time that was, I'm not even going to remember where it was, but it was northwest suburbs, near Deerfield, around Deerfield. And after work, I would go to his house occasionally, once a week, twice a month, and I would buy a bottle of scotch, he would buy a bottle of scotch, or whiskey or bourbon or whatever. And we would sit there and drink them and rate them. We had rating cards and everything.
Wow.
We're talking.
Were they barrels?
We're talking, no.
Okay.
We're talking 20, 30.
Pre-podcast
Christ,
ages.
long time ago, 30 years ago.
They didn't just have the square wheel.
Yeah.
And we would rate the bourbons, and we rated them, and this is the point I'm trying to get to, is we rated them by, would you serve them to your Scotch knowing friends, Scotch loving friends, or just your friends? And this I would give to my Scotch knowing friends and Scotch loving friends, but not my friends. My friends would get this,
Right.
and my Scotch knowing friends might get this, but the Scotch loving friends would just get this.
Sure.
Right? Because it's what you know your friends would like or dislike, or you know who you're going to get shit from for giving them wild turkey American honey.
But that's the nice side of things, is that you could give them. I feel like you could give them a Wolf Point and they would be happy, right? At least that's based on my taste buds
but
from
that's
what I've had
knowing
tonight.
your friends, knowing your friends to what they would like or not like, and what kind of connoisseurs they are.
Correct,
of
but
bourbon, Scotch,
you could give them a Wolf Point and without telling them, and just say, "What do you think of this?" Right? Like,
I agree with that, because I mean I think it is certainly of a classification, not quite the right word, but it's of a certain classification that where you could have them try it, and then for the ones that felt that it was like, oh yeah that's okay, then you explain, well it's
a single barrel
distillery,
not even small batch, smaller than small batch.
Yeah, well, what I meant is as a small distillery.
Up and coming,
it's
if you
up
will.
and coming, yes.
Yeah.
In other words, it's like, and then you could tell them. But I agree with what you're saying. I mean, I think that you could present that to, I think anyone in that range.
and that's your goal, right? Is to have them try new things. Because you don't want them to just go get stuck on the Glenmorangie, because
Listen.
you're spending $75 a bottle versus, hey, look, for almost half the price, you can get the same flavor profile.
This is different. No, it's not the same.
Well, I should say flavor
profile.
okay.
But I get what you're saying. You can enjoy this as much as you'd enjoy this if you're not necessarily a connoisseur of Scotch. But they're different things. Scotch people, aren't always bourbon people, and I shouldn't say that. Scotch people are normally bourbon people, but bourbon people aren't always Scotch people.
Yeah.
Because there's the smoke and the peat that makes it different than a bourbon.
And
Bourbon
bourbon's
is the people
corn,
like
right?
this. Bourbon is corn. This is malt.
Yeah.
So, and you know, by the way, just to be a bourbon, you just have to be 51% corn. So you could put barley, you could put malt, you could put wheat, you could put rye, which is a big deal.
Saccharose.
So you're saying you could put honey in those?
No. Yeah.
Sorry.
Both you
Bring
guys
it back
can
to the movie.
suck
Then.
my
Tried.
left
I
nut
tried.
on that one.
Oh bother.
But so the difference is like you really got to. This is an acquired taste. Scotch,
But it's
in general,
but
is an acquired
honestly though,
taste.
is it acquired? Because that's the first time I've had that. Correct? Like what did I have at your place that one
you
time?
had the Glenmorangie 10-year.
Right. you
Was
did.
it 10 year?
You did have the 10-year,
I
which
felt
was
like
not
it was
this.
younger than that,
No,
but-
no, they don't make anything younger than that.
Okay.
But you had the base model. So in other words, this is the Glenmorangie 10-year, aged additionally into the Nectar d'Orge cask, and there's another one that have Saturine casks, another one that have that's in port barrels. They do finishes.
But I liked that right away. It wasn't
Yeah.
like that was one where I go, kind of gonna quite.
'Cause
No,
you're
it
used
was.
to the mash. You've had the mash
But
before.
but
You've
but,
had
al-
the
but
mash
also
bill.
it's one of those things where, like, for me, coming to the States, I was a Scotch guy.
Right.
It's like
You're in England. How do you not be a Scotch guy?
I would never have, like,
Because we know England doesn't have any good whiskeys of their own.
Adnams.
Yeah.
But the point is, it's like, you know, as I've explained before, England. So many people in England think that like Budweiser is like the best thing, beer wise, just because it's American.
Do you remember what the number one whiskey in England is?
Was it Jack Daniels?
Jack Daniels.
Right, and so I had Jack Daniels before, and quite frankly, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And so when I came over here, I was still a total Scotch snob.
Yeah.
You know, and quite frankly, when you and I first became friends, and I first had bourbon over at your bar, it was like, okay, you know, it's like, yeah, sure, I'll try this American stuff. You know,
You had had bourbons before.
no, I'd had bourbons before.
You've been here for like 35 fucking years.
But I'd never. But if I went out,
Probably not the range that you have. though,
right, and the point is,
Yeah.
like, if I went out to a bar and wanted spirits, I'd buy Scotch,
Yeah.
or I'd have gin and tonic.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I,
you are notorious for
Maybe
dinner.
we should try a gin. We
Any
should-
dinner he goes to, it's a gin and tonic. Always. Always a
that
gin
is-
and tonic.
That is my opening drink for any meal that I have. Is always
we
gin
should
and
have
tonic.
him do a gin for one of these. for a
I'd be
movie.
fine with that. I looked for gin for this one. I did, but
There's
anyway.
no honey
But
gin.
but
I'm
anyway, my
assuming.
point is, it's like, you know, so one of the things that I've actually really enjoyed over the last like 4 or 5 years that we've been friends is like expanding my universe of alcohols that I now drink and love, and to the point where it's like now when I go out, Four Roses is like my go-to.
Yeah.
Roses is a
Well, because most
fantastic-
places would have that, and,
Right, and-
you've
and it's
become
not
accustomed to
super
that.
expensive.
Not super
Yep,
expensive.
yeah.
It is the best bourbon for the dollar.
Right.
Yeah.
I will try and go for the small batch.
Small, which is just a better bit of.
To not sound too
Same
snobby,
thing.
right?
But the point is, it's like, but I never would have done that prior to meeting you. It's like I always would have picked a gin and tonic. I would have gone for a Scotch.
I think honestly, this backs up to the whole thing that I started with my buddy Troy Smith back 100 years ago, where we wanted to expand our palates and figure this shit out. And we would just get as much scotch as we could afford at the time, because sometimes we could afford great scotch, sometimes we couldn't afford really good scotch. But we tried as many different ones as we could. And that was the point. It had to be a different scotch. It couldn't have been the same scotch we had 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. It had to be a different scotch.
But you could probably do different scotch or same scotch but different year amount, correct, or something like that, right? Or did you
different-
guys say
so-
no, we're going?
Okay, so
completely-
back then there was not the big emphasis on finishes.
Okay.
Now finishes are way more popular than they were back then. And by finishes, it's like this. This was done with the Glenmorangie mash, the same recipe, 10 years aged in the same way they do all of it, but then it was finished in a different kind of wood. And then they finish in a different kind of wood after that. And then they do they do all these different things to it now. So now there's so many different versions of Glenmorangie out there that dizzying.
Okay.
Back then, it was Glenmorangie.
But do you think though that they did that purposely so that
Of
because
course.
now you've got different flavor
Of
profiles and now you've got
course.
the people coming back because now how many bottles of Glenmorangie do you have?
I've got any one time I've got about 3 to 4 bottles of different Glenmorangies
There
at
you
any
go.
time. This is my staple scotch.
Okay.
This is my house scotch.
But again, I mean, I think that actually goes back to a little bit what I was trying to say before, which is basically that, just like with breweries and IPAs and all these different things, it's, I think, we as a people want variety.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But you want comfort too.
But
right?
that's where it comes down to the same recipe but
Correct.
a different finish.
Exactly, and it's like I think the reason why, like even a company like Wild Turkey, the reason why they're branching out, and I know they've probably been doing this for years.
Years, but not that many years.
But the point is, it's like the reason why they're, doing these different profiles as well, and like different takes is because they're like, they know there are people out there that would call themselves, I like Wild Turkey.
I don't know anybody who claims that. So I'm sure there's somebody that does.
But my point being,
I'm sure that's somebody that does.
Let's go the other end. So,
Yeah.
Glenmorangie, as you said, there's many people that like this is their house scotch.
Yes.
And so when they go to a Binny's or they go to a Woodman's or wherever and they see a new bottle, even if it's a little bit more expensive, they go, oh, I'll try that because it's Glenmorangie. It's Morangie.
Close enough.
So you get and that's where I feel like they get the name portion of it. But then if you honestly, like a Wolf Point, like nobody knows that, right? Like
Well,
I've never even
we
heard
don't
of
know
that.
it.
But that's why it has a cool logo.
But it's
Yes.
only been around 5 years,
Yes.
6 years, technically.
Right. So we don't know them because they're new, but that doesn't mean they're not known. In their area of Chicago, they're probably really well known.
I mean, I get things
Right.
every once in a while. I send it to you guys where it's like, oh, this is top, whiskeys, top scotches, top whatever, and I've never heard of Wolf Point.
So
being on
exactly.
there.
But
Now,
here's the point: they're
obviously,
new.
I've got different flavor profiles.
But no.
people
So
do.
I used to do the same thing. I look at Whiskey Magazine, Whiskey Aficionado, and some other magazines, and I look for the top whiskeys of the year. And they always do this whole thing where it's like the top 10 whiskeys of the year and blah, blah, blah. And they go through all of them. And sometimes there's an Irish whiskey in there, and I'm like, well, fuck that. I'll skip that one and go to the next one. And then sometimes there's
Unless it's Dublin.
Then we definitely skip Dubliner. But then they also do the Japanese whiskeys. Japanese whiskeys have come a long way. I've
I've heard
yet
good
to
things.
try a Japanese whiskey.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I just think to myself, it can't be a whiskey.
Well, that
If
sounds like
It's gotta be a bourbon.
If I'm going to spend $100 on a bottle,
Right.
There's many other things I'd sooner spend
There's
$100
so
on.
many other things, and
I think
that sounds like a good.
That's the problem.
Maybe we should be doing some Japanese movies.
No.
that,
Well, I've got it already
just throwing it out
planned.
there.
I've got it already
Oh.
planned. Once we hit the Japanese movie week, which we should do soon, the J horror, then we will be trying Japanese whiskeys.
okay.
I'm all for it.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm not good at those yet. I can't say I'm well versed
But that's
in
good.
Japanese
That's what you
whiskeys.
want. You're branching out. You're trying.
I'm not well versed in Irish whiskeys either because they suck. And yet, I have tried a lot of Irish whiskeys. There's actually a couple Irish whiskeys that I should.
I'm
bring out
intrigued
you
to
guys.
try.
that are good.
The Conor McGregor
Conor
one.
McGregor.
Because Mike liked
'Cause
that
Mike,
one.
yeah.
Mike liked that one, and he didn't like the other one, the Dubliner or whatever, Dublin.
Dublin.
He didn't like that one either. But anyway,
So maybe we should find another Irish movie so that you can have an excuse to buy.
do we have to? Do we really have to? Can we just pretend? Can we just go right to J Horror Week? I'd rather
Hey,
try a
if you're
Japanese
up
one.
for it.
Okay. Like I said, there is a Japanese whiskey that I'd like you guys to try because
Okay.
it's actually really fucking good.
Okay.
But it's also really fucking expensive.
So we should wait until we
Wait,
get,
is this the
get
one that's got
sponsorship.
There's one that I've seen where it's got a samurai head on the top of it.
No, it's not that one.
Oh my god, that one. I want it just for the bottle.
A samurai like pouring top?
No, it's like just the cover. Oh, God, it's sexy. I don't know why, but
No.
samurai shit is like fucking awesome to me. I don't
Really?
know. Literally, probably 20 years ago, I was like trying to save up money just to buy one of those samurai suits to put in a case off to the side.
Wow.
Yeah, I love that shit.
Wow. Okay. Well,
I don't
that's
know
cool.
all the shit behind it. I just
No.
because I think that's a kind of a mix of scary because the masks from those are meant to be intimidating and scary and things like that. And when you look at that shit, if that came at me, I'd fucking be running. Like even nowadays, like if that stuff's is there any horror movies that use that shit?
I don't make movies, but if I did, they'd have a samurai.
There you go.
You guys know what that's from?
Yes, that would be Bare Naked Ladies.
Wow, very good, Logan. That's why we're friends, Logan.
Wow.
That's why we're friends. Very good. But yeah, so again, I'm not against Japanese bourbons or whiskeys. They can't be bourbons. Japanese whiskeys. I guess they can be a bourbon.
Yeah.
The only qualifying for bourbon is that it's 51% corn, virgin American oak, minimum of 5 years, aged. They can make bourbon,
But typically they don't.
but typically they don't. But yet, 2 years ago, I think it was, the best whiskey, according to Whiskey Aficionado, was a Japanese whiskey. Oh shit! 2 years ago.
Really?
So
Would we?
Maybe
And
it's
this
a
is just
Sartori.
me. I'm not a huge aficionado of them, but would you guys do cigars?
oh, I've done cigars. We did cigars.
Whiskey and cigars?
Monica Lewinsky did a cigar as well.
Oh, wow. She also had a
No, that's
nice
such
stain
an
on her
old
shoulder.
reference. I don't know.
So-
Isn't Monica Lewinsky
For the
like
young
100
people
years
out there,
old
Monica
now?
Lewinsky was and Bill Clinton. Look at that. Google that. And
I
we'll-
think
we'll talk.
most of the
You
people.
think
that
somebody's
are
gonna know that
listening,
reference? Okay, somebody will.
If you know that reference, put it in the comments.
All right, I'm gonna have a little bit. I'm switching to Wolf.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, that's where I'm getting to the point where I'm actually feeling a little more comfortable trying these to the point where I'm like, you know what? What if we threw a nice little cigar?
You know what?
I don't know if we could do that in here. I don't
Listen, I don't
So-
think.
Smoke
I was gonna say we're gonna set off sprinkler
smoke
systems
alarm.
and shit, but so we may need
No,
to,
but I can do the smoke hat, the fog hat. Did I show you that one?
or maybe we could do it at your. I don't know if you've
Yeah,
got
I
enough
showed you that. I did
ventilation.
that with you
The-
one
the
time.
smoker one.
The smoker
Yeah.
that you put the smoke hat.
Oh, that
looks
thing
like a
was
top
awesome.
hat on you. Have you tried that?
Yeah, you did it when I was
Did I do
there.
it for you
Yeah.
guys? Okay.
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh yeah.
dude. That just
That was sexy.
that cranks up
I
the
don't know
whiskey,
what that
boy.
did.
Let
That
me tell
just-
you, that's.
That added an extra.
Oh yeah.
I
Kick.
felt- Oh, it was weird. Yeah, I don't know.
Because
that
it has
was-
the smoke. It's a visual. It's a smell.
yeah.
It's a. Then you get the
It,
taste.
it's kind
and
of got that
sticks to the
horror
ice.
part because of the foggish kind
Oh.
of look to it. Oh yeah,
All right, we'll
Anyway.
do that.
We should
Okay.
review the. Fog.
We should do the fog.
Fog.
I was gonna
That's
say
on the
that.
list that I added.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
Even if
the
it's-
original
or-
fog versus
Or the Mist.
the remake.
The Mist would work.
Mist.
The
Mist was a.
I was gonna
fucked
throw
up
that in there,
movie,
but I thought,
man.
But the fog is a better movie.
But the Mist
No,
was just
well,
that
the
ending
Mist-
was fucked
the
up.
fog is just so fucking cool. Great.
The
soundtrack
fog
as
is
well.
great, but the Mist I think is a better movie than Fog.
I just love Adrian Bobo.
Who doesn't love Adrian Barbeau? But the point is, fucking Mist had a fucked up ending. You're like at the end of
Which
the
was
movie, you're
not
like
the same as the book. I
holy
heard.
shit! No, but that's why I'm
That-
glad
that
they
was-
did it.
oh,
I'm
man.
glad they did that.
That was one of those I call them MFer moments because you're just like,
Yeah, that's exactly. You're like,
Yeah, yeah.
holy shit!
they
5
just
minutes.
do
If they
that?
waited 5
Yeah.
minutes more. Oh,
walk
that
out,
was
take a
such
piss.
Good fucking movie.
All right, so we've hit the hour mark.
Yeah, but
so-
fuck them. What's your favorite movie?
Oh God.
Come on,
Favorite movie between
Yeah.
the fog and the mist and all that other stuff, or just
pick one.
What are we narrowing it down or just in general?
Okay, let's narrow it down. But what do you want to narrow it down
Let's go-
by?
let's go based off-
John Carpenter.
let's just do.
movies.
Wait a minute. That's really specific. There's only 12 of those.
I think
I
it's
still
about 18,
have
but-
my
Okay,
favorite
18.
movie, which a lot of people probably. Well, I don't know. Maybe they don't.
Dracula
know.
2000.
That's a Wes
God.
Craven.
That is one movie that like that. I got mad about Little Red Riding Hood or Red Riding Hood.
Yeah.
That movie just fucking sent me over the edge. No, I
Me
would
too.
say
Me too.
I don't even know if that ever made the airwaves, but on something I
do
had
that every
previously
once in a
done.
while just 'cause
But
it's fun.
if I had to pick a movie that was my ultimate favorite, it's more, it's horror-ish, but Fallen, Denzel Washington. That
Really?
That is, I can watch. I probably
That's
watched that
not a
about 10 or
horror
15 times.
movie?
Yes, it's horror. It's considered horror.
Really?
Horror crime drama. Yeah.
Crime drama is not horror.
But it's horror in the sense that there is some spiritual portions of it.
Which one is that?
That's the one with. It's got.
That's
oh
the
my God,
terrible
listen to this.
one that was
Denzel
done with
Washington,
no flavor.
James Gandolfini, Donald Sutherland. It's one of those movies where when I've watched it, and every time I watched it, Elias Koteas is in it. It's a movie that I can sit there and watch every fucking time. And it's like 2 hours long, and which I hate 2 hour long movies, but normally this is just. It's got every element you can think of in it.
I don't remember it.
Oh my God. Please watch it this weekend and get back to me because I might even fucking watch it this weekend.
Really? Like a movie because
that is just something
considered a movie. Like it's hard to say your favorite movie. Right?
Yeah,
Because
this is
really,
not hard
I've
to say
got
that.
10 favorite movies.
Yeah, no,
Right.
this is.
I have about 20 movies in my top.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, this is one that anytime anybody, because everybody asks me, what's your favorite horror movie?
We get that a lot.
And honestly,
We get that a lot.
I could go the Halloween route, but I say, what do you mean by horror? And I have to ask specifically, and if they say, well, what?
Because then you
But
say,
it's not-
well, here's my favorite. It's not a horror movie.
It's not.
I'm
Well,
quoting
it didn't
horror.
scare.
But I
No,
love
it didn't scare me in the sense that it wasn't like the most frightening movie of all time. But it was one of those movies that when I tell people that, they come back and go, "Holy shit, that was great!" Like I didn't know this movie existed. Or they go, 9 times out of 10, I get the Michael Douglas movie. I'm like, no, not Falling Down. Fallen.
Because that was a great movie.
I
was a
like
good movie.
Falling Down. Actually,
Falling Down was a good movie, but
Good
Fallen
point.
is, oh God, that's like to me that's perfection.
So
Perfection.
Yes, I would give that 10 out of 10 any day.
So, but I asked you what your favorite horror movie
That's
was,
technically
and
a
you gave
horror
me an
movie.
action movie.
It's not an action.
Crime drama.
It's a horror.
It's
crime
a
drama. Look
crime
it up
drama.
right now on IMDb, and it comes up as horror crime drama.
Crime drama.
Horror
So
crime drama.
just FYI, one of the other things we should probably do is get an HDMI. If you're going to always have your laptop,
Yeah,
have
we
an
should.
HDMI
So we
outlets
can
so that
literally-
So we can
pull
go
up
to it and then
what's
see
on
all
there.
your like.
Excellent idea.
So when you start typing in stuff into Chrome, it's gonna show us like
Okay.
chickswithdicks.com and stuff.
do an incognito version of,
Yeah.
of your browser.
But no, but that's just the movie that, and I've recommended it to probably
Not
I'd say
The
probably
Fallen,
10 or
just
15.
Fallen.
Just Fallen.
Yeah.
It'll come up 1996, I believe, or 97.
98.
Oh, 98, whatever. I'm old.
Yeah, Denzel Washington.
Yep. And what did they give it on IMDb?
7
Yeah.
out of 10.
Yeah.
That's a solid C.
That's
That's a pretty good
impressive, though,
for
IMDb.
Yeah.
That's
Obviously,
pretty
if you look
impressive.
up like Shawshank Redemption, it's going to have 10 out of 10, but a 7 on and how many ratings does it have? Does it actually tell you that?
3.
3 ratings?
Sorry. No.
Two of them are low.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, I was just saying. We don't know that.
I think it says 87,000.
So yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
so
but yeah, I mean, it's a star-studded cast. Oh Jesus, I forgot. Oh Jesus, Dan.
it
from-
says action crime drama.
Jesus
Horror
is-
is nowhere
What?
in that.
They changed
Action-
it then because it used to say
Action
horror.
crime drama.
For fuck's sake.
Google that shit, people.
All right. Anyway,
Action crime.
I consider
There's
it
no
horror in the sense because there's some blood and guts in there, but
Blood and guts don't make horror.
no, but it's.
I know some
So
rom-coms
all right,
that
so
have
if
blood
you're
and
gonna,
guts.
we're gonna go true horror.
Yes.
And this is gonna probably ruffle some feathers
Oh,
on this one
fuck.
too.
Don't say cube.
Silence of the Lambs.
Oh,
What's wrong with that?
no, that's mine.
People bitch about what if I say Silence of the Lambs. That's
Fuck
not
them.
horror. They consider that a crime drama more than a horror.
No.
Yes.
That is mine.
No.
Whenever anyone comes
Yes.
in the store
No.
and asks for what my favorite horror
Yes.
movie is, Silence of the Lambs is what I
Yeah.
tell them.
Number 2 is for me Exorcist.
Yeah, I mean,
if we're
it's up there.
going down the list, I would actually probably then step to.
Ooh.
I gotta say, IMDb says that it's a crime drama thriller.
Yeah.
Really?
See,
It doesn't
that's
say
what I
horror?
mean.
Doesn't
People,
say it's a horror.
and that
Well,
was
I
one of the
mean,
fights
I
that
can
I
See
used to
that?
have.
I kind of agree with that.
I
kind
do
of agree
consider
with
it more of a thriller,
that.
but
It is more of a horror than
Yeah.
thriller, though.
Yeah.
I get
think
it. I
so.
get it. I get it. But still, thriller horror. kinda-
What does Alien come up as?
Oh well, that's gonna be science fiction.
That's gonna be sci-fi horror, I'm sure.
Because like Alien would be my not Aliens. Alien.
Alien.
Oh,
Yeah, you
sorry.
gotta get it right, man. He
Sorry.
is Mr.
Alien.
Did I tell you?
1970.
I was a member of the British Aliens fan club.
They say that's true. Horror sci-fi.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
So because like Alien is probably would be number 2 behind Silence of the Lambs.
My top 5 would be, I would maybe throw in there, Event Horizon's probably in my top 5.
Event Horizon, again, it's just science fiction.
But
I
think
wouldn't-
about that.
I don't know if I'd say
Has
horror.
not stuck with you?
Well,
Oh,
absolutely, absolutely. It's
it
a
has.
fucked up ending.
And they didn't even show us half of the shit that they like.
No,
from
I
what I
get it, I
heard,
get it, I
it
get
was
it.
way worse.
I get it. But again, but it was an ending that made it fucked up. The whole lead up to that wasn't as scary, wasn't as horror.
I don't
wasn't
know.
as-
I mean, it's Dove and I actually saw that in the theater, and Dove hated it. She hated it just because there were so many parts of it that were like a Skinny Puppy video. Just
interesting.
but just in
analogy.
terms of like, there's lots of parts where they're playing a scene, and then all of a sudden there's scenes of animals decomposing. Just these very quick cuts.
Sure, I get it.
And so, I love that movie.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I'd put it in my top 5, but I love that movie. And just because it's unsettling,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah, but that's part of it. That's part of the horror, is the unsettling part. But
What about Session 9? Anybody?
you think Session 9 was good?
You haven't seen Session 9?
I've seen
don't
Session
think
9.
so.
That was the psychotic hospital,
These guys go to clean out the asbestos from a psychiatric hospital.
and then weird shit happens because it's a
Check
psych
that one, because
hospital.
that might be
Yeah,
not considered horror, but
I don't think so either.
But I would definitely recommend that. That was something so probably when I was in my late teens is when I finally said, maybe there's people out there that actually like these horror movies, and I can actually start talking to people about this type of stuff. And so I joined a message board, which I think is still around. It was the Halloween message board, and I think it was called like THMB. But anyway, and I was on that for a couple of years, and got to the point where I was like a moderator, all that shit type of thing. And it just was like one of those things where people, I'm just like, tell me Session 9 came up, and I'm like, never even fucking heard of it, and went and watched it, and it was one of those movies where I was like, holy shit, that was actually good. And
first time I watched it, I thought it was horrible.
really,
It was
Okay.
so boring and slow.
It is. It's a
Having
slow
gone-
burn.
Yeah, having gone back to it, I appreciate the slow burn more than before. But it's still not a great movie to me. It is labeled David Caruso, by the way.
Yeah.
is the big name.
He's
in
the
that
only
one.
big name in it.
Does he take his sunglasses a whole lot?
He does
And he
not
says,
do it. Does not even have sunglasses. But it is considered a horror mystery.
There we go.
So,
By the way,
but that's a legitimate
scroll
horror.
down a second for the cast. So that's really funny.
Uh-oh.
So David Caruso in it, and Paul Guilfoyle
Yeah,
is also in it.
Guilfoyle.
David Caruso was in CSI Miami,
Right.
and Paul Guilfoyle was in the original CSI.
There you go.
Okay,
Just random.
that's
random.
outstanding. Thank you for that wonderful tidbit.
So
Warwick?
how do you
I
like?
I am a giver.
So you said you like the Silence of the Lambs. Do you feel like the rest of the series was better, worse, and different?
I think Manhunter is possibly one of the most perfect movies
Really? Okay.
ever made.
Over Silence of the Lambs, or just a close second?
Manhunt. Okay.
So if I was gonna, so I think the hard thing when I try and, I'm surprised no one picked up on that. When I try and like pick what my favorite movie is, in horror, the reason why I picked Silence of the Lambs is because Silence of the Lambs is very much like Shawshank Redemption, a movie that I can watch at any point. At any
pick
point
up in the middle of the
during the
movie?
movie.
Yep. Yeah.
And I love it at any point.
Sure.
Yeah, I got you.
It's like I've watched that
gotcha.
movie so many times.
And apparently,
it's
a lot
so-
of other people, because it was nominated for a shit ton of stuff.
Yeah, I love it. But I think Manhunter, just the way it's directed, Michael Mann's direction on it, like the music in it, is just it is so
The Inagata-Davida part was just like perfect.
Well, yeah, but
that was
so-
fucking great.
so damn good. And in reality, I didn't watch that when it first came out. I watched it because I was a huge Miami Vice fan.
Wow.
You heard it here, folks.
And there is an episode in Miami Vice where Crockett basically plays the character oh my god, what's the detective's name?
That guy.
Oh Jesus!
I never watched Miami
Wow. Now you're.
Vice.
Oh my God! You caught me off guard.
I don't like Miami
Hold on.
Vice.
I'm totally picturing it, and I just totally draw a blank.
Well, and also remembering like the Hannibal
Yep,
TV show as well. Anyway, so he totally plays that character where there is a serial killer and Crockett goes all psycho and like kind of embodies
Yep.
like the serial killer in order to be able to catch the serial killer. Basically exactly what what's name Peterson does in in Manhunter, and have said it was because of the Miami Vice episode that I'm like, oh, you mean there was a movie that went with this as well?
Mm-hmm.
And so hence I watched Manhunter. But I love Manhunter. Will Graham. That's right. But I loved Red Dragon.
Okay, yeah.
Although not vaguely as good as the book. The Red Dragon book was
the book is phenomenal.
was so much better.
Yep. The same with Silence of the Lambs. The Silence of the
Yeah,
Lambs
I
book
agree
was-
with that too. But
Yeah.
the difference is, I mean, you're never going to get a movie that's as good as the book ever. I don't.
I disagree.
What? Name
American
me one.
Psycho.
You think American Psycho movie was better than the book?
Yes. I only finished 175 pages of the book because I was so fucking annoyed. He spent 10 pages describing a guy's fucking suit. I was like, seriously, I'm done with this.
But that was the whole point. Is
I
that he
understand
took
that,
it
but
to
to show the neuroses or neuroticness or whatever the fuck the word
look
is.
at my business card.
But it was just like, holy fuck. I'm like, I'm done. The only good part in the book that I liked that wasn't in the movies was there was a point where Bono says, like, I'm God or some weird shit, or I'm the devil or something like that.
No shit.
And I always thought that was good. But other than that, the book, I made it 175 pages and I was done. I was like, no.
I will say it's obviously
shit.
clearly not horror, but I actually preferred. I don't know why I'm saying this.
The color. No.
Because you want to eat up some time. Let's hear it.
The Firm.
Really?
John Grisham.
Yeah, sure.
So like the Tom Cruise movie.
But the book, have you read the book? I read the book. Okay, all right.
And the book's different.
Way
and there's-
different.
And there's definitely parts in the book that are better. There's a better explanation of Tom Cruise's character. Obviously, can't remember what his name is. With his brother, like that whole brother sequence kind of is a lot more expanded, especially what happens after, like towards the end of the book. But I thought, and I think somewhat to even to your point, it's books have the luxury, in quotes, of just spending a lot of time with the characters, and expanding
They can
on
elaborate and get
characters
deeper
and
into
stuff
certain
like that.
situations, and yeah, absolutely.
In a movie, when at the end of the day you're trying to keep it between 90 minutes and 2 hours because that's what the multiplexes want, you have to make it just a little more fast paced. I think The Firm was one of the few movies where, as much as I'd read the book before, I thought the movie version was just as good, if not better than the book, very much like Harry Potter. Just so you know, I think the Harry Potter movies, I think, are phenomenal.
The other one that's
Or at all, but
No.
that's
A
all right.
a very
Thanks for mentioning
close
that.
one for me is Exorcist. The book is
Yeah.
basically almost exactly like the movie.
I did not read the book on that.
Okay,
one.
I would recommend it. Check it out because they go a little more in depth in the guy that's the house butler. They go a little more in depth into him in the book, which was to me was helpful because you feel a little more for that character. But yeah, when you read the book and then you watch the movie, you're like, Jesus Christ, it's almost exactly the same except for there's little parts. So that's where I feel like there's some books where you're just kind of like, it's like they literally took it page for page and put it in the movie, which obviously William Peter Blatty was part of that. But
so one of these times, I think we should do just a finishing the bottle, maybe on the episode where we resample all the old ones and pick our favorites out of that or something, and
see what movie we think ties to our
maybe just pick out our favorite movies and talk about that, because this could go on forever as far as our favorite movies go, right? And there's reasons for all that in the comparison to the book versus the movie versus the sequels versus, I mean, there's a lot to talk about with there. That's a whole episode right there.
oh yeah.
I think we should dive into that shit.
I think he's telling us we need to end this.
Yes.
But at this point, we're at an hour and a
19.
half, hour and 20.
Yeah.
I think we need to close this
Sure.
episode up.
That
Okay.
sounds
So-
good to me.
So, in closing,
In
we
conclusion,
watched 2 movies that had to do with children's stories. Thank you very much. I don't know
that
if
wasn't
you
how
guys
we
heard
felt
this
about
one.
him, but go ahead.
They were way more excited than we were.
But we did get a wide range of whiskeys tonight.
Yeah.
So give me your summary on the movies and the whiskey.
Summary. If you're feeling up to it and you have an hour and 23 minutes, check out Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Over.
Looking at Red Riding
Red
Hood,
Riding, okay.
2011, Amanda Seyfried, Gary Oldman. That's my...
But Amanda Siegfried, though.
Seyfried.
Seyfried.
Seyfried. You want a
Seyfried.
zig? You want the
Seyfried.
zig?
America.
You quit.
Are you trying to lick?
I was just saying. We get a picture of her on the mic there?
Can we get a close up of that? Can we?
Dear God. Anyway, so yeah, I between the whiskeys, I would definitely say, I would have to go. Honestly, if somebody was holding a gun to my head and said choose between these
Yes,
three
they are.
on
I
which
am.
you would want to drink
Could
on
you
a
bring
regular
that one out?
basis.
Can people? Yeah, people can see it.
Yep.
Never mind.
I would definitely go with the Wolf Point.
Wolf Point over Glen.
Glenmorangie.
All right, good. To
And only
know.
not
Good to know.
nothing against Glenmorangie is fucking great, but I go based off of
Now,
kind of
let
price
me
point too.
hold on a second. Let me ask you that. Do you really think it's that great? Are
It
you
is great.
doing that because Warwick and I like
No,
Glenmorangie?
it's actually very good. It's very smooth. It's very easygoing. It's just that price point is what kills me.
Because you're not deep into scotches as much as you are whiskeys and bourbons.
Correct. But and that's
right?
why I'm
So
not. I'm
you're-
normally
we're
not a fan of
trying to
Scotch.
get you into bourbons
Yeah, I'm
or
not a-
Scotch. I mean,
Yeah, I'm
we're trying to
normally
get
not
you
a fan
into
of Scotch. So that's why that. So
Okay.
I feel like. Oh boy, that just came
Woo!
out. Anyway,
That's
if
the
I had
Scotch
to,
talking.
if I had to, because honestly, that kind of is the pinnacle for me of Scotch.
So far, this particular one.
Yes.
Oh,
Or
okay.
Glenmorangie, the 10-year that you
This
had.
this one right here.
The Ord. Okay, Nectar
Yeah.
d'Ord. Okay.
And that's why I'm saying I'm going based off of if I had friends coming over and I wanted to show off, the first thing I would do is bring out Wolf Point. Because they would probably, I would laugh at whoever didn't like it. Because I mean, obviously I like it, you guys liked it, so
Yep.
I know you. I trust your guys' taste buds a little more than mine.
No.
sometimes.
That's my point. Is
Yeah.
that you can only trust your own taste buds.
But that's
don't
well,
be influenced by what
but
other
I-
people
I know
think.
what I eat throughout the day sometimes. So
Okay.
I know
well,
what my taste buds are
if
kind of
you're-
like.
If you're licking the ass of a mule, then probably not going to take
that
your
time in
viewpoint.
college.
But
No.
oh, shit.
It was the 60s.
Anyway, so yeah, that's my viewpoint.
Every now and then, once
He
that
was
did.
like
This
not
is
even
this is more
born.
of like a I'm out to have fun. That is more a little more
I'm out to vomit.
yeah
is
a
what
little
you
more
want?
sophisticated for the Wolf Point, and then the Glenmorangie is like I got some people that hold their pinky out when they drink.
Okay. All right,
Done.
Mr. Price.
What was the question?
Come on.
So no, I for the movies, I agree totally with Logan. I mean, as I said it in my reviews. I went into this evening's recordings or the movies that we were going to be recording, and totally expected that Red Riding Hood was going to be like, I don't know that I went in thinking that it was going to be like an amazing movie, but I certainly thought it was going to be better than Blood and Honey, and was totally wrong. Blood and Honey is not a great movie, but it's still a better movie than Red Riding Hood. To the same way that you were saying about gun to the head, if I had a gun to my head and was said I had to watch one of those
Why
movies,
does it have to be a gun to our head for this shit?
I don't know.
Which truly, yeah, when you
is
think
that?
about it, we watch shit
Why?
that we don't even we never
No.
would watch.
Wait till we get the Japanese horror. You guys are
Jesus
gonna
Christ.
want a gun to your
Yeah,
head.
yeah, I guess. Anyway, so I thought Blood and Honey was better than Red Riding Hood. Red Riding Hood's only redeeming factor was Amanda Seyfried and Gary Oldman. For the whiskeys, Glenmorangie all the way. I love it. It's so good. Very, very impressed with the Wolf Point for a obviously, as we said, not necessarily a first time distiller, but certainly for the first time that we've ever had it. it's
and not
good.
necessarily on the cheapest end. It really, it's pricey compared to some other bourbons, but because they're new, they need money. They need
Right, that and the fact that it's like, that their, let's say, selling point is the fact that it's a single barrel.
Yes.
So in other words,
great.
it's,
It made me buy it.
It's therefore good. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we got to try it as it without being blended with anything else, right?
Correct.
So,
It's not a
but I
blended.
mean, I would put the honey crap. I mean, literally, anyone who's watching on YouTube, rewatch the Blood and Honey, and watch my face every time I took a drink of this
I
swill.
think you had the pea shivers every time.
It was like, oh god, like even just thinking about it, just
Yeah, he's not wrong.
makes me shudder.
Yeah.
It was just way too sweet, and I'm a person that it's like I'm okay. Unlike Lon, who actively does not like sweets, I'm someone that would never necessarily go out and actively buy candy myself, but
Clearly.
if there's a bowl of candy on the table, I will happily eat that stuff. That was just so overly sweet. Even just again talking about it, just
I'm getting a cavity just listening to you.
I just looking at the bottle.
Yeah.
It's like it's
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah, so when I bought that one, I literally, just because I didn't like Jack Daniels as much and I didn't want to buy theirs, and Jim Beam I don't care for at all, I couldn't buy theirs. There's a few others that actually charge like 30 something for their bottle. I'm like, fuck you. I'm buying this because, let's face it, Logan's making me buy this one because Logan says, it's honey, Lon. It's a fucking Pooh Bear. Get a fucking honey bourbon. I got one for you. Fuck you for making me drink it. Now, all right, I'll be quick about this. The American honey, any of the honey ones, they're just too sweet. They're too much. It's too. I don't like it. I don't want it. I don't care for it. I like sweet bourbons. That's not a sweet bourbon. That's a sweet sugar liqueur that has a little bit of bourbon in it. So there's a big difference. Now we come to these two. This is a pinnacle. This is one of my favorite Glenmorangies. I love the Glenmorangies. I have them as a staple in my house. It's my house scotch. I love Lagavulin and Oban and Talisker are my top line. This is right up there with it. But it's a scotch. It doesn't belong here. I brought it here because it was the only honey-ish tasting thing that could combat that American honey swill. I can't take that. I had to go back to this. This was a surprise. I wanted it to be good. I smelled it and I got instantly disappointed, thinking, oh my God, what did I buy? Did I ruin this all for the money? And then I tasted it. I'm like, okay, it's not so bad. And then I tasted it again. I'm like, oh my God, this is pretty good. And then I tasted it again. I'm like, this is actually very good. The more I drink it, the more I love it. I can't wait to try some of their other distilled spirits. I was very excited. Wolf Point, contact us, man. We'd love to work something out with you guys.
Yeah.
This is
I will tag the shit out of you.
really really good stuff.
I like that phrase, tag the shit out of you.
Anytime Warwick says he's going to tag the shit out of you, don't call your lawyer. It's okay.
But reach out to us.
Reach out to us. This was really good. We'll reach out to you. What is it?
Midnight
we
Movie
really
Distillery
are getting
at
into
gmail.com.
this. We're really getting into this. And honestly, because you're the same area we are, we're neighbors. This is
Help
like
a brother out.
This is perfect. So,
Scratch your back, we'll scratch yours.
bottom line, first, second, eighth,
Wow.
a 10th, 2000th.
So wait,
Wow.
did you just say gobble gobble?
I was trying to.
It's not even on the chart, but
It even looks like urine.
I will say
does,
this is
actually.
growing on me. This is a good thing. I think if you guys
We'll
put on an
dehydrate it.
8-year, 7-year, 6-year, it's going to be really good. I can't wait to taste it. I hope you guys have that in the plans. I want to talk
Should
to
be
you.
hitting the 6-year mark, right?
This? Yeah. Sure. If they've got it in the barrels, if they've kept the barrels for it, and that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Because when you get out there, you want your product, you got to sell as
Need some
much as
cash
you
flow.
can.
I'm sure they kept a couple off to the side.
I'm hoping they did. If you did, I'm in. I'll come buy some. Just let me know and I'll be there. Overall, the movies, I did like Red Riding Hood better than Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the
And
Pooh.
so that was the end of our show.
Winnie the Pooh.
And stop.
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh took a poo. Okay? But now, having said that, Red Riding Hood wasn't stellar. It was not what I would consider a great movie I'm going to watch again. I will never watch it again. But Amanda was in it. Gary Oldman was in it.
you.
It had a good werewolf. I love werewolf movies. I like this way better than any Humpty Dumpty bullshit
Or Winnie the Pooh.
or Winnie the Pooh. I think Winnie the Pooh had a big opportunity and they fell short. Was it a good movie? No. Was it a great movie? No. Was it a decent movie? Yeah, all right. It did what I wanted it to do. I wanted somebody to make a Winnie the Pooh horror movie. They did that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So for that,
And they did it
I
for,
give them good mark.
for $100,000.
They did it cheap. Well, no, that showed. That $100,000 showed.
But see, it's so funny because like
But it was
like-
good. It was still
like,
good.
We have watched movies here that have had like $60,000-$70,000 budgets. That I've
Are you
looked-
talking Evil Dead? Because that
no,
reigns
no.
down
I'm
all
I'm-
over this
I'm talking
movie.
people that movies that we've had the
Name one.
the directors and
Eye
whatever.
in the Hog.
It- it-
Okay, we don't want to name them because they're friends of ours. But
But the point is,
I get you.
It's like you
Okay.
look at those movies.
All right, I get you.
That had similar, less, but similar budgets,
I get you. They had no budget.
and they
no budget.
looked low budget independent movies.
I get you.
And as we've always said, it's like regardless of any of that, they still managed to do something that we've never done, which is produce a fucking movie.
Yep.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
is impressive.
Yes.
In itself.
Agreed. Absolutely.
To me, the Winnie the Pooh movie looked pretty impressive. Looked more than $100,000
Yes, it
movie.
did.
Yeah.
I give them that credit. yeah.
Well, yeah, it looked impressive for $100,000. We'll say that.
Okay. but I said it's like, I don't
Bend
take
to
away,
my will.
I don't take away from the fact that yeah, that would be the other one.
Wow! I hit camera 3. We don't.
We don't have a
We don't
camera
have a
three.
camera 3 yet.
That was the end of the show.
Here I thought I was being clever.
Big mistake. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's. We said everything in the episode. It's. I don't think it was a great movie. I thought it was an okay movie.
Neither one of these were great movies.
I still, again, overall, enjoyed Winnie the Pooh more purely for
You
the-
like Pooh?
I do like Pooh, especially Bloody Pooh.
That's disgusting.
But I said I enjoyed Pooh more really for the.
Sorry.
For the
Yes?
fact that-
Go on. Why did you enjoy Pooh more?
because I was a little bit more impressed with it based on what my going in
Because
How it came out?
how it came out. These two, what are you, schoolboys?
You don't think they pushed it a little too?
I think it was probably bleeding on the way out.
Oh god.
so you prefer the bleeding Pooh? I'm not sure if that's what you said.
How high a pitch is that?
I don't know. I think dogs are howling right now.
So,
I think so,
so I
too.
think we should pinch this off.
I think we should wipe the shit down and be done with it.
Oh god.
Do you have any closing words, Logan?
Thank you all for listening to this. We appreciate it.
Listening to this ordeal.
We hope you've learned a little bit because I feel like I learn every time about this stuff. Movies, I learn about stuff.
crying.
But oh god, that was the best. Anyway,
As we always say, if you have any suggestions for movies or alcohol that we should be drinking or pairings, or again, as we always say, if you are a distributor that just happen,
buddy.
he's just.
we need to put a little red line.
You can figure it
Oh,
out.
dear
There's a
God.
dot.
Where's there a dot?
You know, the lens, the circle, the
It's
thing.
okay.
Right now.
Okay. If you
No,
haven't,
Now we went back to the other one.
you.
I think that's why they call this finishing the bottle, ladies and gentlemen.
if you are a distributor that just happens to be one of the 47 people that are subscribed to this, and would like us to review,
44. No, it was 44 as of this morning.
No, they did what?
Even after the other one left us.
Left? Really?
it was that Indian
Wow.
guy.
All right, great.
He was from India and he got mad at us.
Because I didn't
Because
reply to him.
Warwick said, I don't care if you're from India.
Like, I owned you.
Shit, we don't want to go there.
No.
Wrap up your thoughts about the movie.
Christ.
Okay. No, the movie.
What?
Wrap
up the movie.
If you have anything you'd like to comment about the movie, if you like what we're doing, if you don't like what we're doing, just put a comment below. We do really read them because there's not a lot of them, especially if you're from India. Long.
Love this, hate those movies. Bye.
Simple, fast,
Simple.
and effective.
Do we need to put a
Bye.
pause in?
Yeah, oh,
Thank you,
right,
folks.
pause. Thank
Pause.
you for coming. We love you.
We do love you. We really do.
Please comment. We need more
Hopefully you have as much fun as we
all
are.
44 of you.
We have a lot of fun.
43.
in
We
this.
do.
I did check. It's 43.
43, okay. And we know that some of those are us.
I think
Yeah.
the 42nd was my mother. So I don't know if that counts.
Hey, man. It all counts.
Okay.
Anyway,
Love you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Little pause for a couple seconds. And go.
And the clap.